Hello. Thank you for joining me today, Mrs. Zimmerman.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for meeting with me. I wanted to meet with you regarding your son, Tristan. As you know, we're in the spring of his third grade year, so we're rounding up towards the end. This year has been a very good a very good year with your son. It's been a pleasure to have him in my class. Before we begin, did you have any specific questions for me?
No, not right now.
Okay, great. Today I wanted to discuss the results from a few of Tristan's reading tests from the year. So we do a test called the FAST testing. Basically, that is a test that determines the word Tristan has read correctly per minute, as well as his accuracy. So here is the results from his FAST testing. As you can see, he started the year with 130 words correct per minute, which just means we time him for a minute, see how many words he reads, and then subtract any errors from that. So he was able to read 130 words correctly per minute, which is actually his goal for the end of the year. So by the end of the year, we wanted him to read 130 words correct per minute. So he did just fine, obviously. The main concern we have with students who start much higher than the end goal is that they may get complacent or bored, so they feel like they don't have to try as hard because they're already at the end goal. Does that make sense? Um, but fortunately, he did progress. As you can see, he continued to progress, and he ended up with 141 words per minute, which was a 11 words correct per minute growth. So that was great. As far as his fluency, or his accuracy, I'm sorry, ma'am. He started out with 98%. That's really great. He ended up with 99%. That's better than we could have expected. So, before we move on, did you have any questions about the FAST testing, how it works, what it measures?
No, not right now.
Okay, perfect. Another test that we do use is the BRI. The BRI is the Basic Reading Inventory. We administer this test to kind of measure Tristan's fluency, accuracy, and comprehension of the texts he reads. Here, I have that score sheet right here for you, these 2 pages. Um, as you can see by this score sheet, he is well above grade level expectations, and he is continuing to progress throughout the year. So he started above grade. So he started at a grade level above third grade, and he continued to progress. So that's really great. Again, we didn't see any of that complacency or losing knowledge. Did you have any more questions about this test or its results?
No.
Okay, great. So we just continue to track the basic components of reading. So one question I always get from parents is about state testing. The Iowa State Assessment, the assessment scores, it's this big packet. It's very, very important. So he scored, as you can see right here, he scored a 210 on his reading assessment and a 240 in vocabulary. What these scores represent is a grade equivalency of 5.5 on his 210 in reading right here, and a grade equivalency of 7.9 on his vocabulary. And a lot of times, what people think confuse is that grade level equivalency equates to instructional equivalency. So obviously, we're not teaching him as a third grader at a mid-year fifth grade level or an end-of-year seventh grade level. What that means is, say a fifth grader in the middle of the year would have taken the reading test, we would have expected them to do on that test how he did. And for his vocab, we would have expected an almost eighth grader to do as well as he did on the third grade test. So as we can see, that he scored very well. It's obvious to me from these scores that Tristan is very gifted and a talented student. He is doing well above grade level expectations as far as his reading and his literacy skills go. Is this something you notice at home? Does he do a lot of reading? Does he have any interest with books or vocabulary?
Yes, he reads a lot in
Okay.
his recreation time. Yes.
That is great. Is it something you guys do as a family, or is it just something he kind of does?
When he was younger, I always read to him at bedtime before we go to bed, and now he likes to read on his own in the evening, kind of a wind down time. So yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, as we've stated, he's far above grade level on most things. I would love to obviously we need to continue to enrich him and continue this great growth. We don't want him to stop growing because he's bored or feels lessened by the material. So this spring, what I want to do with your permission is to go ahead and get him registered for a tag test that would hopefully get him into tag or talented and gifted for the next year. I think that kind of enrichment would really help him. During this summer, I definitely recommend you encourage him to keep reading and practicing his skills over the summer so that he continues to grow when he comes back in the fall. Hopefully in the fall, the tag services can be implemented, and I will continue to, through this spring and talk to the teacher next year, differentiate assignments. So he's still doing the same assignments, but they're continuing to enrich him. I know I've covered a lot of material and test scores. Did either of you have any questions for me? Tristan, Mrs. Zimmerman?
No, I don't. I think that's great.
Okay, thank you for taking time out today to come and talk to me about your son. Like I said, it's been a pleasure to have him in class. And if you have any further questions, you know my email. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you.
Yes, it was great to see you again.
You too. Kristen, shut up the camera.